All right, so are you ready to dive into AI agents?
Definitely been looking forward to this one.
Me too.
Okay.
Um, all this stuff you sent over is, it's pretty mind-blowing.
It is,
We're
yeah.
not just talking about AI that, like writes poems or creates images anymore.
Right.
These things can actually like achieve goals in the real world.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, they observe, act, and they can even use tools.
Like they have their own hands.
Yeah. Okay, so in your notes, you mentioned three main parts of an agent:
Mm-hmm.
the language model, the tools, and then the orchestration layer. So
Mm.
walk me through like what each of these does.
So the language model is like the brains of the operation, decides what to do.
Okay?
The tools are like its hands so it can actually interact with the world.
I
And
see.
the orchestration layer, that's like the conductor that makes sure everything works together.
So it's not just like one big blob of AI.
Nope.
It's more like a well-oiled machine with all these moving parts.
Sure.
Okay, so I have to ask this. What is the difference between these AI agents and those AI models that are,
Mm-hmm.
all over the news?
It's a great question, and it can be confusing.
Yeah.
Think of it this way. So you have a model, right? That's like a professor who's read every book in the library,
Okay.
knows everything about a topic, but can't actually do anything with that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
An agent is like that same professor, but we give them a lab and a set of tools so now they can actually do experiments, build things, solve problems.
So models are about knowledge and agents are about taking action.
Exactly.
Got it. Now, in one of those articles you sent, there's this chart that compares models and agents.
Yeah.
And the differences are just striking.
You can really see how agents are a huge step forward. Models are limited to the data they were trained on.
Yeah.
Agents can actually access external systems so they can get real-time information and adapt.
Okay, so let's break down this agent architecture. We've
Yeah.
got those three parts: the model, the tools, the orchestration layer. Let's get into the weeds a little bit.
Okay, thanks, good.
Starting with the model, the brains of the operation. Now, you said that it uses things like React, chain of thought, or tree of thought to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain these in like simple terms? I'm not a computer scientist.
Yeah, sure. So imagine the agent is trying to solve a puzzle.
Okay.
With React, it's like trying one piece at a time and constantly adjusting based on, how it fits.
Yeah.
With chain of thought, it's more like breaking the puzzle down into sections and solving each step by step.
Okay.
And then tree of thought is like exploring multiple solutions at the same time and then picking the best one.
So these agents aren't just like blindly computing.
No.
They're actually like reasoning and coming up with the strategies.
It's kind of amazing.
It's both amazing and a little scary.
Yeah,
Now, let's talk about tools.
sure.
These are what give the agent its hands, so to speak.
Right.
So what kind of tools are we talking about here?
Well, there are tons of possibilities, but I guess three main types. First, you have extensions. Think of them like pre-built connectors.
Ah.
So the agent can use these to tap into existing APIs like Google Search or a weather API.
Oh, so they can pull in information from the real world.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then you have functions which give developers more control.
Okay, how so?
So let's say the agent needs to access some specific data.
Hmm.
Instead of the agent having direct access, it suggests a function to the client. The client actually carries out the task,
Okay, so it's like the agent is a strategist,
Yes,
but it needs others to carry out the missions.
exactly.
Got it. And then the third type of tool.
Right, so those are data stores.
Wow.
These give agents access to a massive amount of information, like
Right.
databases, websites, files, really anything.
So it's like a supercharged Google search.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so we've got the brains and we've got the hands.
Right.
But how do these agents actually learn? Like, did they go to AI school or something?
Oh, not exactly.
Okay, good, because I don't think I could afford that tuition.
Laughs. Well, so there are a few different ways these agents can learn.
Okay.
One is what's called in-context learning, where the agent learns from the prompts and examples that it's given.
Oh, so it's like learning by watching someone else do something.
Yeah, kind of like that.
And what if it needs information that's not directly in the prompt? Can it go find it?
So that's where retrieval-based in-context learning comes in.
Mm-hmm.
It lets the agent access external knowledge.
So like an AI detective gathering clues.
Exactly.
Pretty cool.
And then there's also fine-tuning-based learning.
Okay, what's that?
That's where we train the agent on a specific task, kind of like sending our AI detective to specialize in a certain type of crime.
So it becomes an expert in something specific.
Exactly.
Okay, so all this is fascinating, but it feels a bit theoretical.
Right.
Are there actual platforms where people are using these agents,
Yeah, absolutely.
like in the real world?
So Google has this platform called Vertex AI, and it's built for this. It's got all sorts of features like a visual agent builder, pre-built extensions, support for function calling, really a lot.
So it's like a one-stop shop for building agents.
Exactly. Makes it really easy to get started.
Wow, this is so cool. This all feels so futuristic, but it also feels like it's happening now.
It is. Yeah, things are moving really fast.
Okay, well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
Yeah.
we've talked about how these agents can do all this stuff.
Right.
Write code, make decisions, even take action. That sounds powerful, but it also
Yes.
raises some questions about, responsibility.
Absolutely. Anytime you have powerful technology, you have to think about the ethics.
Right, because we're not just building tools, we're shaping a whole new way of interacting with the world.
That's true.
But let's put a pin in that conversation for now.
Sure.
First, I want to hear about some real-world examples of how these agents are already being used.
All right. Happy to share what I've learned.
Okay, hit me with it.
It really is amazing to see this stuff moving from the labs into the real world.
So tell me, what kind of cool things are these agents actually doing out there?
Well, one area that's seeing a lot of action is customer service.
Oh.
Imagine a chatbot that can actually solve your problem, not just answer basic questions.
Right.
It could access your account, process a refund, even schedule appointments for you.
Now, that's a chatbot I would actually use.
Right. No more waiting on hold forever.
Yeah, none of those annoying phone menus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about efficiency either.
Okay, what else?
These agents can offer a more personalized experience too.
Really? How so?
They can remember your preferences, anticipate your needs,
Wow.
even make recommendations just for you.
It's like having your own personal assistant for customer service.
Yeah, exactly.
So what other industries are using these agents?
Well, healthcare is another big one.
Okay, how so?
You could have an agent that helps doctors diagnose patients.
Really?
Yeah, more accurately, or even recommend personalized treatment plans.
That sounds pretty futuristic.
It does, right. And, with the growing demand for healthcare, these agents could really help improve access and efficiency.
Makes sense.
And it's not just about doctors and patients.
Okay.
They could also help streamline all those administrative tasks, manage medical records, even assist with research.
Wow, it seems like there's no limit to what these agents can do.
It's pretty exciting.
It is. So what other applications are you most excited about?
I think the potential in education is huge.
Okay.
Imagine an AI tutor that could personalize lessons for each student,
Mm-hmm.
provide real-time feedback, and adapt to different learning styles.
I wish I had one of those when I was in school.
Right. It would have been a game changer.
Yeah, I could help students learn at their own pace.
Exactly. And it would free up teachers so they could focus on other things.
Like mentoring or giving more individualized attention.
Exactly.
This is amazing. It feels like these agents are about to change the way we learn and teach completely.
Yeah. And that's just the beginning.
What do you mean?
We're seeing agents being used in finance, transportation, manufacturing, even the creative arts. It seems like every industry is finding ways to use them.
Okay, so it's pretty clear that these agents are going to be everywhere.
I think so, yeah.
But let's say someone is listening to this and they're thinking, I want to build my own agent.
Mm-hmm.
Where do they even start? Is this just for, big tech companies with tons of resources?
Not at all. Actually, there are some great open source tools and libraries available.
Really?
Yeah, anyone with some coding experience can start building agents.
So it's not just for the Googles of the world.
Nope, anyone can get involved.
What kind of tools are we talking about?
So libraries like LangChain and LangGraph are really popular.
Okay.
They let you build custom agents by combining different components like models, tools, and those reasoning frameworks.
Oh, so it's kind of like building with Legos.
Laughs. That's a great way to put it.
You can mix and match different pieces to
Right.
create whatever you want.
Exactly.
So we have these big platforms like Vertex AI for companies, and then these open source libraries like LangChain for individuals.
It's a really exciting time to be in this field.
It seems like there's a path for everyone.
There really is.
All right, so let's shift gears for a second.
Okay,
I'm kind of curious to see how all of this comes together in an actual example.
sure.
Can we walk through a scenario where someone might build an AI agent?
Yeah, definitely. Remember that travel planning agent we talked about?
Yeah, the one that can book a whole trip for me.
Exactly. Let's use that as an example.
Perfect, let's do it. Okay, so let's say I'm a user and I want to book a trip.
All right.
What kind of request would I give to this AI travel agent?
You could say something like, I'm thinking about a ski trip with my family, but I don't know where to go.
Okay, so pretty open-ended.
Very open-ended, yeah.
I'm not giving it specific dates or destination or anything.
Right. How would a travel agent even start with that?
Exactly. So what would this AI agent do?
Well, it would need to gather more information,
Okay.
just like a human travel agent would.
Makes-
It would start asking questions to figure out your preferences and, any constraints.
Okay, like what?
Like, what does family mean? Are there young kids, teenagers, adults? What's your budget? Any dates in mind? Things like that.
So it's basically playing 20 questions with me
Yeah, kind
to
of.
get a better idea of what I want.
Exactly.
All right, so let's say the agent has a good understanding now.
Okay.
What happens next?
That's when it would start using those tools we were talking about.
Okay, how so?
For example, it might use a search tool to find popular ski destinations,
Mm-hmm.
or a weather tool to see where the snow conditions are good,
Okay.
and a flights tool to compare prices and, see what's available.
So it's pulling in all this information from different sources.
Exactly.
What does it do with all that data?
Well, it needs to make sense of it, right?
Yeah.
And then present it to you in a way that's helpful.
Okay.
This is where those logic frameworks like chain of thought and tree of thought really come in. It can analyze all that data, weigh the pros and cons of different options.
Yeah.
Consider your budget and travel dates and even things like your past trips.
Wow. So it's not just giving me a bunch of links.
No.
It's actually making personalized recommendations.
Exactly. And it can do all of this in real time.
Okay.
So as you give it feedback, it can adjust its suggestions.
Really? It's like having a travel agent right there in my phone.
Pretty much. Yeah.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
It feels like we've only scratched the surface of what these AI agents can do.
I think we have. Yeah.
But I do want to circle back to something we talked about before,
Okay.
the ethical implications of all this.
You're right. We can't forget about that.
These agents are making decisions and taking actions.
Mm-hmm.
That comes with a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely.
So how do we ensure that these agents are used ethically?
Well, as they become more powerful and more integrated into our lives,
Right.
we have to be very mindful of the risks.
Yeah.
We need to make sure they're being used for good, that they align with our values,
It feels like we're at this really pivotal moment
I think so.
where we have this incredible technology
Mm-hmm.
that could solve so many problems.
You're right.
But we have to be very careful about how we use it.
I agree. It's a huge responsibility.
It's a reminder that technology is never neutral.
It's true.
It reflects the values of the people who create it and who use it.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been an amazing conversation.
Yeah, it has.
We've learned so much about AI agents today.
A lot to think about.
Their potential is really mind-blowing.
It is.
But as you said, it's up to us to make sure we're using this technology for the right reasons.
I think that's the most important thing.
Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
To everyone listening, keep those questions coming, and we'll see you next time.